The NFL draft, like chess, is a war over the board. The goal, to outmaneuver your opponent and claim victory. Today we're going to do just that. Hey Bears fans, welcome back to the Bear Review. Been a crazy couple weeks of football. The Super Bowl matchup is set, but for us, that only means one thing. We're getting closer to the 2025 NFL draft. And that means it's time for our first 7-round mock draft of the season. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one, so let's dive right in. To kick things off, the Bears are making a trade. In this scenario, they strike a deal with the Cincinnati Bengals, trading the 10th overall pick for the 17th pick in the first round, the 49th pick in round 2, and pick 117 in round 4. The key here isn't snagging pick number 17. It's all about getting pick 49, which sets us up for a crucial run with 3 picks over 10 selections in round 2. Now let's get to what you're all here for. The players. Now, I know you're not going to see this first pick coming, but trust me, hang around and I'll alleviate all your concerns in time. At pick number 17, the Chicago Bears select Shamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M. Now, Shamar Stewart is an absolute force off the edge, standing 6'5", weighing at 281 pounds. He also boasts an 83-inch wingspan. The former 5-star recruit checks all the physical boxes that you want in a hand-in-the-dirt defensive end. Now, his stats don't immediately pop off the page. In 2024, he had 34 tackles, 5.5 tackles for a loss, and only a sack and a half. And his PFF grades were hovering around the middle of the road. Overall, his offensive grade was 79.5. He was a great run defender, grading out at 88.2, and his overall pass rush grade was only 67.2. Now, the last number is a bit misleading because he still led the team with 39 total pressures and had a pass rush win rate of 12.4% and a true set win rate of over 20%. What makes Stewart special? His size, length, and impressive bend for a player of his size. His speed-to-power conversion is elite, as shown in the Senior Bowl yesterday, and his alpha dog mentality stands out. To Knox, he needs to clean up his hand technique a bit, and his overall pass rush production in college was a bit of a letdown. But for the most part, those are all coachable aspects. And with Dennis Allen and co., I think they can turn him into a true monster of the midway. I'm betting on his raw traits and his mentality here, over overall production seen on the stat sheet. Now, for our next pick, in the second round, at pick 39, I had the Bears taking Wyatt Millam, offensive lineman, West Virginia. Standing 6'6" and weighing 315 pounds, the former 4-star recruit is a monster of a man. Played exclusively at left tackle in West Virginia last season to the tune 0 sacks allowed, 0 hits allowed, and only 6 hurries for a total of 6 pressures on the year. His PFF grades were also off the chart as well. Overall, his offensive grade was 91.1. He was an excellent run blocker, grading out at 89.7, and an even better pass blocker, grading out at 92.6. But for this plan, I had the Bears kicking him inside to play guard. Moving him there will help mask his shorter arms and only average lateral quickness in space that'll be exploited by high-level defensive ends if we kept him out on the outside. This will also allow the Bears to utilize his heavy hands at the point of attack and solid anchoring ability to shore up the interior offensive line that was a huge issue last season. Overall, Millam is an experienced and skilled blocker with good play strength and powerful hands and should fit right in on day one with the Chicago Bears. We're staying in the second round. This time at pick 41, I took Ariante Ursary, tackle from Minnesota. Standing at 6'6" and weighing 339 pounds, 34-inch arms, Ursary is a true mountain of a man. He was a 3-year starter at left tackle for Minnesota and had a solid 2024 season to the tune of 1 sack, 1 hit, 10 hurries for 12 total pressures. Overall, his PFF grades are as follows. His total offensive grade was 77.5. He was a decent run blocker, grading out at 73.6, and a slightly better pass blocker at 77.3. Now, Ursary has a stiff and powerful punch to go along with great vision and the ability to pick up plays and shadow rushers on the fly. However, he needs to work on his pad level. He plays far too upright, and it's killing his leverage. And while he has good footwork, his overall foot speed is something that will need to be worked on at the next level. However, as we saw yesterday at the Senior Bowl, Ursary has a ton of talent and has been working on refining those things already and should only do even better once he gets into Chicago. I see him as a true long-term replacement for Braxton Jones. This move also gives us the ability to start Jones, and if he falters, we have Ursary waiting in the wings to take over, or he could possibly even beat out Jones, and Jones could be a trade candidate later on in camp. Next up at pick 49, I took Gray Zabel, offensive lineman, North Dakota State. Zabel stands at 6'5" and weighed in at 315 pounds at the Senior Bowl. Mainly played tackle while at North Dakota State. However, his 32-inch arms are better suited for a position inside in the NFL. In this case, I'd be moving him to center, though he offers flexibility as guard as well. Overall, 2024 was a good year for Zabel. Splitting time between tackle and guard, he allowed 1 sack, 2 hits, 4 hurries for a total of 7 pressures. In terms of PFF, his overall offensive grade was 90.4. He was excellent at his run blocking at 86.5 and was an amazing pass blocker, grading out at 93.1. Zabel shows greater lower half mobility and pad level with a strong initial punch to go along with his ability to fluidly redirect and move incoming defenders. He does struggle to consistently protect his outside edge at tackle, though, creating short corners against high side chops and swipes. However, putting him in center should help mitigate those issues. Overall, he's able to show starter level physical tools to go along with his strong anchor, as well as a smart mind who should fit right into his role after some growing pains. Alright guys, the pick's going to start coming faster now. At pick 72 of the third round, took Quinshawn Judkins, running back, Ohio State. Judkins is a physically talented back at 6 feet, 219 pounds. He also had a fantastic year at Ohio State, rushing for over 1,000 yards with 14 touchdowns. He also contributed 161 passing yards. Overall, his PFF grades were 88.8 in terms of overall offense. His run grade was an even 90. His one issue, and as you can see here, PFF also saw it, was his pass blocking. He only graded out at 31.6. Now he is a patient runner with good vision who finds his way through the line of scrimmage. He also has a compact and densely built frame. He runs hard behind the pads and will lower his shoulder to finish runs. He delivers a thundering stiff arm to closing in defenders. Judkins is a playmaker with the burst and acceleration needed to generate big plays with the ball in his hands. His pass protection is the area that needs growth. He's a willing participant, but he needs to prepare more to engage with free runners at full speed. Overall, Justin has the blend of size, speed, and strength needed to become an impact player at the NFL level. With pick number 117 in the fourth round, I took CJ West, defensive tackle, Indiana. West is a 6'2", 317-pound defensive tackle with great initial burst that catches interior linemen off guard, given his size. His compact frame gives him a natural leverage advantage, which he uses to great effect, but he has trouble sustaining it over the course of the play. In 2024, overall, he was pretty solid. He ended the year with 42 total tackles, 7.5 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks. Overall, he generated 25 total pressures over the course of the year. His PFF grades were pretty decent, too. His overall grade was 83.9. He was a much better run defender at 88.1, but could still rush the passer, grading out at 72.9. He's truly a high-effort player who plays from whistle to whistle, and is versatile enough to line up in multiple techniques. I'd have to say he's more fit. I'd have him more so fitting into that run defending nose tack position versus a 3-tech. His hand placement is a bit of concern. He lands outside far too frequently and lacks the length and need to recover, and he needs to work on his tackling technique. Overall, to start, he is a rotational defensive tackle, but like I said, I see him fitting best as a run defending nose tackle. But with his motor and burst, it makes him a rotational player with high upside. Okay, guys, moving on to round 5, where we'll be picking at 148. With that pick, I took Hunter Waller, safety from Rutgers. As you can see, he comes in at 6'2", weighs about 218 pounds. He does possess the prototypical size you want from an NFL safety. Overall, in 2024, he had 71 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. No interceptions, but he did have 6 pass breakups. His PFF grades weren't too bad. Overall, he had a 71.1. His run defense wasn't too bad at 74.8. His coverage grade could be better at 67.6. Hunter's a very strong tackler. He does come with the versatility to play either safety roles. However, he lacks true top-end speed and sideline-to-sideline range. Overall, he's a bit of a diamond in the rough, but I can still see him as an upgrade over guys like Elijah Hicks and Jonathan Owens moving forward. In the 6th round, at pick 197, I took Drew Kendall, center from Boston College. Now, yes, I already know I grabbed a center earlier in the draft, but depth on the offensive line was a huge issue last year. A developmental player like Kendall is the guy you're looking for with these picks. He's standing at 6'4". He weighed in at what some call undersized at 299 pounds. Overall, he had a decent year in 2024. He only gave 1 sack, 1 hit, 3 hurries for 5 total pressures. His overall offensive grade on PFF was 78.8. His run blocking grade was 75.9. It was slightly better in the pass blocking at 81.5. In terms of strength, Kendall does have excellent hand placement and quick feet. However, his play strength needs to improve. He tends to lunge too far forward way too often. Shades of a bit of Doug Kramer, who he's looking to replace in this situation. But like I said, once he spends time in an NFL weight room and gets used to that life, it is just a really good possibility that he could shape up to be a top backup moving forward for the Bears. It's been a long one, guys, but finally with our last pick in round 7, at pick 235, we're going to be taking Efton Chisholm III, wide receiver from Eastern Washington. Honestly, for being undersized as 5'11" and only 200 pounds, Chisholm had a great year at Eastern Washington. He racked up over 1,300 passing yards with 13 touchdowns and averaged 10.9 yards a catch. For being from such a small school, his PFF grades were actually really good. His overall offensive grade was 91.9. His receiving grade was 92.6. And for a guy being as small as he is, he actually had a decent pass blocking grade of 62.1. He can run every route in the tree to great effect and has great initial quickness and body control. While he is going to be exclusively a slot receiver at the next level, which limits just his flexibility a bit and his lack of true top-end speed, Chisholm still brings a sharp mind to the table and should blossom into a trusted target on game day. Well, guys, that's everyone. I know it's a bit of a long one, but just to recap, the picks were Shamar Stewart in round 1. In round 2, we took Wyatt Millum, Ariante Arise, and Gray Zabel. In round 3, we snagged Quinshon Judkins. In round 4, it was CJ West. In round 5, we grabbed Hunter Worrell. In the 6th round, we snagged Drew Kendall. And in round 7, it was Efton Chisholm III. Overall, I feel we hit almost everything the Bears need to show up in this coming offseason. But now I want to know what you think about these picks. Let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate everyone who watches. Much more is on the way. So until next time, bear down.